What's up, everybody? This is Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. And today is the day that we don't do trap and we do J. Cole False Prophets. Let's go. What's up, everybody? This is Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. Today we're going to be going over J. Cole's new song, False Prophets. This shit got the internet going nuts like Paul Wall in 2005. Jesus Christ. Fucking poor Kanye. He's got all you little fuckers excited. You know what I'm saying? J. Cole looking like he's trying to address issues. He's fucking dropped these two songs. Motherfucker coming at Lil Uzi and them. The funny thing is he didn't say no names, but everybody knows who he's coming at. But on False Prophets, he's definitely talking about Kanye. Anyway, you guys go by Studio1Tutorials.com. Check out Bag Up. It's 5 templates, actual templates that you can put in your template folder, stems, drums, Midi files, and they're real projects from me, and they show you how I go about my mixing, my effects decisions and my arrangement decisions, and it's just gonna help you if you're in a spot where you're getting stuck and you don't know what to do with beats. Looking at the session from someone who knows what they're doing can answer a lot of questions. So enough about that. We're going to get into this session. Zebra, you make trap, bro. Like, you don't know how to produce hip-hop? Yeah, fuck you. All right, now the main thing about these Cole tracks, especially the two new ones that came out, and probably what I'm gathering that's gonna be on his album. And if you guys are like anticipating this album and anticipating, the rapper's gonna want to follow suit. There's Cole type beats are gonna sell because this whole just clusterfuck that this dude just kicked up is gonna get people talking. Cole, the dude, like, even though he's like portrayed and branded, and yes, branded, like, even though he's like counterculture, like the dude went double platinum. You know what I'm saying? He's a superstar. He sells out arenas. He's a commercial rapper, in the literal sense of the word. His content isn't idiotic, but that doesn't mean he's not commercial. Like, the dude sells out. So a lot of people are going to be influenced by this stuff. You're definitely going to want to have this in your arsenal, especially if you're a trap producer and you don't know how to go about creating these soundscapes. When you look, I want you guys to pay attention to this, because this is what the whole song is based off. It's just these two bars right here, right? And this is going 90 BPM straight time, okay? And based off these two bars is the whole song. The musicality of the song isn't complex, but let's just listen. So let's dissect this a moment. You're looking at this, and if you're used to just drawing block chords and then writing melodies on top of it, this could look confusing. All this is we're in the scale of F sharp major or G flat major, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. And the thing is, a lot of these records, I can't tell if this part is a sample or if they're playing in a style that recreates a sample, because Cole uses studio musicians. He produces the track. like Dre used to produce the track. But if you ever like watch videos of him working, like he'll start with the sample, then he'll call his boy in to start playing keys over top of it, and then to take out the bass guitar. Like that's why these tracks sound so authentic and have such just a great musical feel to it, because there's musicians playing on it. But we're Studio One tutorial guys. We're the one man band, man. So we gotta kind of reverse engineer that. And the way that I did that is I have go ahead and draw out the first chord in the scale, which is going to be your F major chord, right? Now when you're dealing with this more jazzy vibe, a triad chord, a chord with 3 notes, is not going to cut it. So you're going to want to draw out your 7th chord. And it's the same thing when you're drawing 7ths and 9ths. You just, the same way you would get your 3rd and your 5th by going every other note in the scale. Okay, there's my 3rd, every other note in the scale. Okay, every other note in the scale, and that's how you get a 7th. So you're gonna definitely want to use 7th, sometimes 9th. Like I think a 9th would have worked in the song too. It actually sounds a lot better. I'm going to, before I bounce this out, I'm going to change them to 9ths. But yeah. So you have that first chord running, and then before it turns around every 2 bars, you want to drop a new chord. Now, the way that I chose which chord I was going to use was I went with, there's certain chord progressions, and you guys should read up on this, is there's certain 2-bar chords that resolve well, right? Certain 2-bar chord progressions which resolve well. So that's what makes you be able to make a great loop. The easiest one to use is the 1-5 progression. That's always gonna work. 1-5, 1-4. That's always gonna work. So no, I know that's in my musical lexicon. So that's the first thing I go when I'm messing around with stuff like this. So I said, all right, let me go ahead and make the 5 chord. Here's my 5 note. Okay, and then I'm going up 1, 2, 1, 2 notes in the scale, 1, 2 notes in the scale, and I'm just gonna listen and see how I like how that sounds. See, so that loops perfectly. It doesn't sound weird. That's gonna be able to loop. But the thing is, to get this particular vibe, and the vibe that's going to be on a lot of these Cole records, or like Tribe Called Quest type shit, just this Rhodes heavy hip hop, is they're not going to go really too far out of the C3 octave, or even into higher notes. So what I do is I make sure I invert everything. So these 2 notes that are above, I know I don't want to go any higher than this F note, right? So I just go ahead and highlight it, press shift and hold down. Even though these notes are down here, it's the same chord, it's just an inversion. So all right, so boom, now I've got the chord progression. Easy shit. Now the VST that I'm using is Keyscape. It's a baller VST. Not a lot of people have it. You can use Lounge Lizard to get this shit going. You can do Complete Instrument, Scarby Mark 1. Whatever EP that you have is more than fine. You don't have to get Keyscape to get this sounding right. It's just that I'm a sick gear slut and I wanted it, so I bought it. But what you do want to do is, if you're using a multi-sampled one, like one that loads in Contact, is you want to lower the velocity, because we don't want, this is more like a laid back thing. Right. So that's what we want. And, for the next part, now we want to draw in a melody, using this same VST. And the thing is, we don't want to draw a melody up here because we have these tones, and we don't want that sound. We want to keep in this octave. This is what's going to give it that just that throwback hip hop vibe. So you actually draw your melody inside the chord, which is a completely normal thing to do. Like people playing will move their hands off the keys and play a melody while holding, not while holding the notes in the chord, but while while the sustain pedal's going. You know what I'm saying? So they'll the sustain pedal works is where you push some notes down, you hold that sustain pedal, it'll sustain those tones, and then you can continue to play in the same octave that your hands in, so you don't have to jump around. It's a very common technique, and you have to know things like this about instruments to be able to recreate these things. Otherwise, you'll be lost. So I just went ahead and just started drawing notes inside the scale and just went up the scale. That's it. Like the melody tutorial I dropped a few days ago. Just I knew that I wanted to go up. I wanted it to go dun dun dun. I heard that in my head, just dun dun dun. I'm not a singer, so there was no pitch to it. I just knew that it was gonna go up, so I just found a timing. Now, what I did first, I didn't draw it up there. This was like right here, and I was listening to it. And that just sounds so corny. So I was like, all right, look, I don't want to go here. The only spot to go was there. And that's totally acceptable. All you got to do is just drag this back. Okay. Have this here. Boom. Now what do we got? Okay, now I'm just going to hold shift and click all these. And I'm going to drop the velocity down on them. Then, since they're my melody notes, I'm going to right click and select Humanize. That way we get some variation. Now, the last thing that I wanted to do was I wanted just another note hit right here to kind of turn around the melody. And it's acting as a bass note. It's actually acting, as... In this instance, like if a Rhodes player was playing this would be acting kind of like as the bass line. And a trick for when you're doing turnarounds, the last note or two before the beat starts over again with bass is to just move down one note in the scale, and that always turns around the beat nice. Like I always use that trick. And it always sounds good no matter what context. If I'm doing jazzy type of stuff, if I'm doing poppy type of stuff, EDM wobbles, whatever. Like this trick always works. But because it's such a low, it's gonna be the lowest tone. I wanted to make sure that it was the lowest velocity, and this is very important. The velocity is very important. You got to pay attention to your velocity, otherwise you're not gonna have any feeling into this. It's just gonna... The tones will be there, but it'll feel like math. It won't feel like music. All right, and that's how you get the main vibe of the track. Like that's the track right there. Okay, so that right there is the soul of the beat. As far as everything else, like the drums, it's all about sound. This is the complex part, and especially the bass line. Like the bass line is not something that can just be explained to you. I can show you the techniques of getting it on the groove and everything, but this is a preview tutorial. The rest of this tutorial is going to be up on studio1tutorials.com this Sunday. I'm going to be giving out the MIDI to this track. That way you can go ahead and analyze it. I'm going to be giving away what I did was I used a a groove template from the actual song. So I have and a groove template. What it is you take the actual song and you extract the groove from it, and then you create a quantizing template based off the actual groove of a song. Because you see these drums, you can't achieve this with just a regular quantize. Like if you want the swing of this drum, you have to have this group template. So that'll be in the Dropbox for my subscribers on Sunday. But really, if you guys, my YouTube people, if you guys can just wrap your head around using a Rhodes in this way and drawing the melody inside of the chord progression, and then dropping the bass like that, you're going to open yourself up to a whole new world of production. You'll be able to produce in the hip-hop genre, and just make J. Cole type beats into your heart's content. So this is Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions. Keep it simple, don't be basic, and we will see you on the next one.